Hello and good evening, viewers. This is English News Broadcast live from our headquarters in Asmara. It's 10:30 p.m. Saturday, November 6. I'm the reporter Mira Johannes with your daily updates, and here's a rundown of the top stories we're covering. Announcement from the Ministry of Health. Training on administration, leadership, and organization. Fuel tanker blast in Sierra Leone, capital kills at least 91. Demonstration in Baghdad. And now we proceed to the details for the local news. We have an announcement from the Ministry of Health. 16 patients have been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 and tests is carried out today at quarantine centers and testing stations in the southern, central, and Ansaba regions. Out of these, 11 patients are from quarantine centers in Debarwa 3, Adiwala 3, Mandafara 2, Dekamhara 2, and Maimuna 1 in the southern region. 4 patients are from testing stations 3 and quarantine center 1 in Asmara Central region. The last patient is from quarantine center in Karan, Ansaba region. Sadly, an 80-year-old patient in the central region has passed away due to the pandemic. On the other hand, 17 patients who have been receiving medical treatment in hospitals in the southern region 13, central region 3, and Kashbarka Region 1 have fully recovered and have been discharged from these facilities. The total number of recovered patients has accordingly increased to 6,770, while the number of deaths has risen to 46. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 6,943. Ministry of Health, Asmara, November 6, 2021. The National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students organized a training program to youth in my ERi subzone on administration, leadership, and organization. The training that was attended by 28 youth from various government and national associations included principles of administration and leadership, significance of effective organization, bookkeeping, as well as role of leadership in the development of productivity. Pointing out that if there is clear vision, everything is possible, Mr. Ahmed Usman, administrator of my ERi subzone, called on the trainees to apply the training they were provided practically on the ground and play due part in the nation-building process. The National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch in the Southern Red Sea region organized a seminar in the port city of Asab on positive and negative social media influences. The seminar, which was attended by citizens that are active in the social media activities, was focused on the positive and negative impacts of social media in the political and socio-economic lives of society. Mr. Usman Abdul Qadir, head of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch in the region, indicated that social media could be described as a double sword, which could be an instrument in blemishing social fabric, instigating conflict, and wasting time. He also called on the youth to fully understand the positive and negative influence of social media and take advantage of it in its positive impact. Owing to the strong effort exerted on students, school enrollment, especially that of female students in the Baghdad administrative area, has registered encouraging results. Mr. Kadir Ibrahim, director of Bolali Junior and High School, pointed out that compared to the previous years, the number of students' school enrollment, and especially that of female students, has increased significantly. Mr. Kadir also commended the role of parents, the community, and school community to their contribution in the development of the teaching-learning process. He further called on all concerned bodies to strengthen participation and contribution for better outcome, and especially that of trilateral relations between parents, students, and teachers. We'll be back with international news after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Central Morgue and local authorities in Sierra Leone said 91 people were killed and over 100 wounded in the capital on Friday when a fuel tanker exploded following a collision. The government has not yet confirmed the death toll, but the manager of the Central State Morgue in Freetown said it had received 91 bodies following the explosion. A further 100 casualties have been admitted for treatment at hospitals and clinics across the capital. Victims included people who had flocked to collect fuel leaking from the ruptured vehicle. Yvonne Aki-Sawyer, mayor of the port city, said initially in a post on Facebook that was later edited to remove the reference. Images shared widely online showed several badly burned victims lying on the streets as fire blazed through shops and houses nearby. Reuters was not immediately able to verify the images. Accidents with tanker trucks in sub-Saharan Africa have previously killed scores of people who gathered at the site to collect spilled fuel and were hit by secondary blasts. The mayor said that the extent of the damage in Freetown was not yet clear, adding that police and her deputy were at the scene to assist disaster management officials. The Iraqi news agency, citing Iraq's Joint Operations Command, reported that an investigation had begun into the deaths and injuries of demonstrators and security forces after clashes in Baghdad on Friday, November 5. Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi ordered the formation of a committee to investigate following clashes between Iraqi security forces and supporters of parties that are disputing the results of a general election in October. A Joint Operations Command statement did not mention the number of deaths and injuries. It was the first significant violent clash between the government and forces and supporters of the political parties, most of which have armed wings and are aligned with Iran, since those groups lost dozens of parliament seats after the October 10 vote. The security sources said police fired tear gas and live ammunition into the air as scores of the protesters threw stones and tried to advance towards Baghdad's fortified green zone, which houses government buildings and foreign embassies. Hospital sources said that more than 21 protesters were hurt, mostly from smoke inhalation, and 9 policemen injured from being pelted by stones. Officials said at least 8 people were killed and many were injured in a crash when fans surged towards the stage during opening night of the Astroworld Music Festival on Friday, November 5 in Houston, Texas. Houston Fire Chief Samuel Pina confirmed the casualty figures at an early morning news conference outside the park. Pina said that at around 9 p.m. the crowd that had gathered for a performance by rapper Travis Scott began to push toward the front of the stage, causing panic and injuries. He also said people began to fall unconscious and the mayhem escalated until 9:40 p.m. when a mass casualty incident was triggered. The fire department transported 17 people to hospitals and 11 of those transported were in cardiac arrest. It was not yet clear what caused the disaster. The Houston Chronicle said Scott stopped multiple times during his 75-minute performance when he spotted fans in distress near the front of the stage. He asked security to help them out of the crowd. Emergency vehicles, lights, and alarms flashing cut through the crowd several times. A crowd of 50,000 showed up for the 2-day event, Pina said. The second day of the festival has been cancelled. Following is a review of tonight's major headlines. Announcement from the Ministry of Health. Training on administration, leadership, and organization. Fuel tanker blast in Sierra Leone capital kills at least 91. Demonstration in Baghdad. That was all for tonight. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.